Hi. Hey everybody, welcome back to The Final Bill, the podcast where we talk about the real economic cost of dying in America. I'm your host, Pauline Kai, a student with passion about how terminal illness, healthcare systems, and money all collide in ways that affect millions of people today, especially the most vulnerable. So, today's episode is called Hospice or Bankruptcy. But before we begin, I want to acknowledge something really important. As many know, today is June 19th, which is also called Juneteenth. And this week of Juneteenth, which is the day in 1865, where the last enslaved Black Americans in Galveston, Texas, were informed of their freedom 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. Juneteenth is more than a historical milestone, though. It's a reminder of how systems, both from law, from labor to healthcare, have long failed Black Americans. And those failures didn't just end in 1800s. They continue today, especially when it comes to the cost of care. So, after acknowledging that, if there's anybody who wants me to make an episode on that, I'd be more than happy to. But to start off this episode, I would like to start with what even is hospice care. So, what hospice care actually is it's for people who are very sick and expected to live for about 6 months or less. It focuses on comfort instead of trying to cure the illness. People usually receive it at home, in a hospice center, or in a nursing home. It may sound peaceful, but here's the catch. To get hospice care paid by Medicare, the patient has to stop getting treatments that are meant to cure them. That's a huge decision for many families, and even a stressful one. I had to undergo through that in 5th grade with my grandpa. But if you don't have Medicare insurance, hospice can cost over $200 a day out of pocket. That's just not possible for a lot of people. So why do these costs keep adding up? When families don't choose hospice, many of them keep paying for aggressive treatments like chemotherapy, surgeries, or long hospital stays. And that won't even help with in the long run. So according to a study by Health Affairs, about 25% of all Medicare spending goes to care in just the last year of someone's life. And for cancer patients, the average cost of the end of the life can go over $94,000, like mentioned in the last video. So imagine having to make choices about life or death and worry about that kind of bill. So I want to start again with, why do a lot of these families go into debt? So with insurance, many people still have to pay thousands of dollars out of pocket. Another study from JAMA Network Open said that the average person in their final year of life spends over $9,000 out of pocket, and that it doesn't include things like unpaid time off or caregiving costs. So, the Kaiser Family Foundation has found that almost 1 in 5 families experience major financial hardship while caring for a loved one with terminal illness. That is really heartbreaking. So why is this happening? So here are some couple of reasons. One of them is most people don't plan care plans early. So advanced directives, and these decisions usually are made in a rush during a crisis. And another thing is insurance doesn't always cover home comfort focused care, especially for people under 65 without Medicaid. And our healthcare systems tend to push to do everything possible, even when patients might just want a little peace and comfort. So what could help? What could we do? As students, we're not all healthcare policy experts, but here are some ideas that researchers and doctors might actually suggest. So encourage people to make end-of-life plans early. So helps with family, avoid less stress, and unnecessary costs later on. Another thing is make hospice care easier to access. So while people are still getting the treatment, so this is called concurrent care, and some pilot programs have shown how it works. Another thing is support those family caregivers, whether it's tax credits, small stipends, or even just flexible school or work policies. Unpaid caregivers need the help. So one of the 4 things to talk about is talk about this stuff more. So this podcast, most people might feel awkward discussing death or money, but if we avoid it, the systems will never change. So here are some closing thoughts to end the podcast. When someone we love is sick, we shouldn't have to choose between helping them die with comfort or going into debt. End-of-life care should be about dignity and not financial collapse. So once again, I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode of The Final Bill. If you found this helpful, please share it with someone or leave a message down below about someone you care about going through this or something that you feel concerned about, and I will be more than happy to cover it again in the next video and discuss it, or I'll respond as soon as possible and give any advice. And so next week we're diving into the nursing home equation of why long-term care is so expensive and what happens when nursing homes start shutting down faster than they are being replaced. So see you then, and take care of yourself and the people around you. Bye.